Good morning. I am 5 minutes earlier today. So, as usual, if you're watching in recording, you're welcome to fast forward or stay with us as we say our hellos. Good morning, Judy. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Sandra. All right, guys, it is time for us to start. And today we will look at the demon of the heart chakra, grief. And again, I want to emphasize that our chakra demons are not necessarily bad things that we need to urgently get rid of. but rather something that we need to bring up to the surface from the depths of the unconscious so that we can integrate all the parts of ourselves. When we realize what demons are haunting us from within, we can shine the light of compassion, the light of loving kindness on ourselves, and start living a truly authentic life. So, as we know all too well, grief arises when we experience hurts to the heart. When our heart is heavy with grief, it's hard to open, even hard to breathe. When we deny our own grief, we become numb to our feelings and our aliveness. We may even feel dead inside. How tragic is that? On the other hand, when grief is acknowledged and expressed, we find a vital key to opening our heart. And suddenly tears are shed, truth expressed, and the heart just lightens. The breath deepens. There is a sense of spaciousness that emerges, allowing more room inside for our spirit. Hope is reborn. And of course, coming to terms with our own grief leads us toward compassion for others as we start to understand them more. When we experience love, whether it's in a romantic relationship or friendship, or love for our parents, children, pets, we strip ourselves of all defenses. We open to another being and to the world. We expand, we grow. And then when we're hurt in matters of love, we're hurt in our most vulnerable, trusting aspects. The purest form of self is wounded. It no longer seems safe to be authentic. Our system, wounded at the very core, just shuts down, and we lose not only our love, but ourselves as well. And this is the deepest kind of loss. Grief that occurs at the end of a relationship, or when somebody dear to you dies, this kind of grief is easy to understand, right? It puts us back in touch with our primal abandonment. It makes us feel powerless. If acknowledged and expressed, it eventually passes. Although, as we all know it, it's a process that can sometimes take years as grief comes and goes in waves. But sometimes we don't even know that we carry grief, as we cannot attach it to anything we remember. And yet it is hard for us to breathe. We feel kind of a stone on top of our heart. We feel numb. Because grief can sometimes arise from situations that are not so obvious. And for that, I want to read, as an example, I want to read a story that Anna Judith tells about one of her clients. So let me read it to you. Susan had a mother who loved her too much. She was an only child, and her mother had little else to occupy her life besides being Susan's mother. Susan felt very special and was never alone. She lacked for nothing in terms of attention, clothing, toys. Yet Susan was not allowed her own independence. Her mother was subtly threatened when Susan played at friends' houses and later when she began to date. Susan's definition of love was shaped by her mother. When she did form relationships later in her life, she was as smothering and possessive as her mother had been. When her partner didn't lavish the same amount of attention on her, she felt unloved. While we might assume that Susan would grow up secure and confident because of her mother's love, in actuality, she feared she was not enough and became quite codependent. She could never replace her mother's needs for an authentic life, and so she always felt inadequate. Susan thought she had had a happy childhood, but for some reason her chest was constricted all the time, and she was frequently depressed. As she learned to breathe more deeply, she contacted a vast reservoir of grief inside. At first she was surprised. She didn't understand why it was there. But as she continued her grieving process, she recognized through her deeper self that the grief she carried was a mourning for the loss of her own authenticity. If we consider that love may indeed be the most important element of well-being and spiritual growth, then any impairment in our ability to love is a profound wound. When we further consider that this impairment affects how we treat each other in the larger social context, we now not only have a personal problem, but a serious collective situation as well. So, what's the solution here? Of course, the answer to grief is compassion. So today, let's do a loving kindness practice towards ourselves and others. And as we go through this practice, I will invite you to also include Amethyst separately as she is suffering from COVID, and everybody who is suffering from the hurricane in Cuba and Florida. So take a comfortable position, and as usual, take a few moments to settle in. Notice what's going on for you physically, emotionally, mentally. How are you right now, really? Let your breath be natural. Just notice what it means. How your breath naturally flows in and out of your body. You can close your eyes or do it with your eyes open as we start with the loving kindness practice. First, we direct loving kindness to ourselves. Repeat after me. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and mind. May I be happy, healthy, and free. May I feel protected, cared for, at ease. May I know deep, natural peace. Stay a little bit with the sense of sending loving kindness to yourself, a warm embrace. How does your heart respond to that? Now bring to mind somebody very dear to you. Can be a friend, a partner, your pet even. And we start sending loving kindness to them. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be well in body and mind. May they be happy, healthy, and free. May they feel protected, cared for, at ease. May they know deep, natural peace. Again, sit with that for a little while. Notice how your heart chakra responds to that. What happens? And now I invite you to send loving kindness to Amethyst. May she be filled with loving kindness. May she be well in body and mind. May she feel happy, healthy, and free. May she feel protected, cared for, at ease. May she know deep, natural peace. Again, connect with your heart chakra. Just notice what's going on. And allowing this loving kindness to come from your heart chakra. Let's send it, the energy of it, to all those who are suffering now from the Hurricane Ian in Cuba and Florida. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be well in body and mind. May they be happy, healthy, and at ease. May they feel protected, cared for, free. May they know deep, natural peace. And now let's send loving kindness to all beings. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be well in body and mind. May all beings be happy, healthy, and free. May all beings feel protected, cared for, at ease. May all beings find deep, natural peace. And once again, connect with your heart chakra. Let yourself feel the energy of it, filling your body and going out into the world further and further as far as you can feel. And once again, we will send loving kindness to ourselves, allowing it to embrace all the grief that we know and don't know that lives inside. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and mind. May I be happy, healthy, and free. May I know deep, natural peace. As you go through your day today, I invite you to stay connected with your heart and just notice how your heart feels. Is it open, joyous? Is it a bit closed off or maybe completely shut down? Whatever you find, it's okay. Remember that it's all a process of bringing whatever we need, whatever we have inside, to the surface so that we can truly integrate all the parts of ourselves and start living an authentic life, full of joy, full of feeling, full of life itself. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.